What's up everybody, Luke Deutschlander here with another video. If you guys like my videos, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Love to hear your comments also, make sure you drop some below. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about why you are not getting phones. And what I mean by that is you should be getting more than one a week. I had a lot of people talk to me, asking me basically, how do you get leads, how do you target certain phones, and why am I not picking up phones? And I want to talk about a few things here today that basically are probably preventing you from getting phones and getting the desired sales you want each month. So the number one thing I believe is a big reason why people don't get any phones, or maybe they have a whole entire week where they don't pick up any phones at all, is because of the fact, guys, that most people procrastinate and they get into this selling mode or buying mode. Both are good, but at the same time, they're not good. So a lot of you guys out there probably have times of the year or times of the month or times of the week that basically you just buy, and then you go on a month or two period of where you're just listing stuff, you're shipping stuff out, you're selling, but you're not really renewing and posting your ads. And so the number one thing you got to do is be consistent and persistent with your advertising. If they get flagged, repost them. If you get banned on a mobile app account, repost them. So you guys got to be persistent with your advertising. And if you guys do that, I can promise you you're going to pick up, a phone a week, or, more than a phone a week, I guess I should say. When I say not getting any phones, guys, I guess to me not getting any phones, if you get less than 4 or 5 phones a week, I would say that's a really slow week, I guess, in my opinion. The goal, in my opinion, is to try and get, 5 to 10 phones a day. If you guys do that, you'll do really, really, really well in this business. So like I said, number one, guys, biggest thing is do not procrastinate and get into this buying mode or this selling mode where, like I said, you go on big sprees of buying, but you don't list anything. And don't go on big sprees of where basically you're just listing everything and you're not renewing any of your ads or anything like that. Because if you guys do that, you guys are going to kind of be in, like I said, just a procrastination or kind of like an idle state where basically you're either buying stuff or you're selling stuff. So another reason, guys, that you're probably not getting the phones is because you are too focused on missing the leads. So missing leads, guys, is really not all that important. What matters is that you get tons of leads, because you're not going to close every lead. No matter how good of a salesperson you are, how good you are at communicating, you're not going to close every lead. So what you should be focusing on is how many leads do you get. Me personally, the best lead generation is Craigslist paid ads, and Facebook Marketplace. And then after that, I like to use OfferUp and LetGo, and I like to boost my post on those services. They work really well for me, and it generates a lot of leads. Now, something you guys can do to kind of make sure that you close your leads, even if you haven't closed them, this is called closing without closure. And what I mean by that is, if you close a conversation, there's a certain phrase that you should be saying every time you close out a conversation, even if you don't get the deal. So what I personally do is, if I've been interacting with a customer over text, and let's just say I can't get the phone or I can't get the electronic that they have for sale, we just don't come to an agreement on price or whatever, right? So how I close out the conversation when we can't agree on price or they don't like my price is typically what I'll do is I will tell them, okay, well, the $320 offer is good for 1 week, and after a week, you'll have to get a new quote. So this basically, guys, locks them in at, say, a $300 some dollar. Let's say you're appraising an iPhone 8 Plus, and let's say you're going to give them $300 for it. So this basically kind of gets an emotional reaction out of the customer, and what you're banking on is that they react out of emotion or, basically out of desperation. Because if your offer, let's say you offer them $300 and they go to a pawn shop and the pawn shop offers them $250, they go to Eco ATM offers them $250, or let's say $220, because Eco ATM always lowballs people. So when they get back to you and they look at that message, they're going to think, okay, wow, this guy offered $300, his price isn't bad, it's not what I wanted, but I've only got 1 week to get back to this guy, and if I don't get back to him, I bet you he's going to offer me less next week. So by doing this, guys, it's better than just saying, okay, thanks, or okay, let me know otherwise. By doing this, guys, you're locking in a price basically emotionally with the customer, letting them know that if they engage or they react to this, they're going to get that money. They're going to get that guaranteed price. And, a lot of the times the fear of getting a new quote sometimes will actually spin them or push them into actually selling the device rather than them holding on to it for weeks or months at a time. And then when they come to get a quote, they get a much lower price. The other reason why I like using this phrase is because oftentimes I feel like when you don't say this and a customer comes back 3 weeks from then, they'll think that they're going to get the same price, and it's like, no, I'm sorry, sir, I can't give you the same price. It's 3 weeks has passed. So I feel like when you put out this closing or closure, basically the fact is they know they're going to get a set price if they act within a week. If they don't, well, they know that they're probably going to get less. So just kind of something to think about when you guys are closing out conversations, rather than just letting your leads go completely dead, or just, basically saying okay or leaving them on red, or just opening them and, saying, all right, thanks. It's just a much better way of doing that. And you guys can word this a couple different ways, but this is just one of the examples that I use. Now, the third reason why you guys probably aren't getting phones is due to the fact that you aren't paying enough. So sometimes I feel like everybody out there gets greedy. If your guys' appraisals are way off, you guys are missing out on deals left and right. So in my paid group that I've got, I have a paid phone flipping group, and I do weekly group chats every Sunday. And a lot of the times we'll do appraisal drills, and sometimes people are way off, and you wouldn't believe how $50 to $75, even though it doesn't sound much when we're talking profits, it's really not a huge difference. But if you're, $50 off, you might miss the deal and cost yourself the whole deal. And who knows if the customer had friends, family, or another deal possibly in the future, but you might have just burned the bridge with the person. So you guys got to be careful on being too greedy. Now, there are a couple situations where you can make large profits, and that's when you basically sense that the person has no care on the price that they get for the item. They're purely selling out of either desperation, or they just simply don't care and they just need money, and they're being very impulsive. And some of the signs you guys can see in a person when they do that is if they text you a lot, they're very fast to respond, they write very long messages. These are all very anxious messages that you should look for in sales. And if you see this, the person is probably very desperate when it comes to selling the item. And on these cases, sometimes, you might be able to make $200-$300 on a phone if it's a higher end phone. When you're dealing with somebody who's a logical seller, who's in a normal state of mind, that maybe just doesn't want to deal with listing the item itself on Craigslist or Facebook or whatever, give them a fair price. Me personally, I try and shoot for around $100 profit per item when I'm dealing with a logical seller. Now, if it's somebody that doesn't really care, or the deal seems kind of shady or something like that, well, I might bump it up to $200 to $250 profit per item. It just kind of depends on how it goes. So that being said, guys, these are kind of some of the reasons why you guys might not be picking up any phones. So I really hope that this helps some of you guys. I know there's all kinds of reasons why you might not be getting phones, but these are just some of the reasons kind of that I've been figuring out for people. We've talked about this. I've mentored a few people, and it seemed like these 3 reasons kind of help most of these people that have been messaging me in my group. And they're kind of simple when it comes down to it, but it's just sometimes going back to the basics and just rethinking some of the stuff that we're already doing. That's the best way to solve the problem, just because of the fact that, if you've been doing it wrong this whole time, you're not going to be getting the results that you want. So kind of like what we just talked about when it comes to closing out a conversation with somebody, you want to make sure that you put a deadline on the price. You don't want that customer just thinking, oh, they can contact you in a month and still get the same price. That's absolutely not what we want. So that being said, guys, I hope you got some value from this video. I hope this makes you think about a few things, and I hope you get some phones this week and over the weekend. And I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. Like I said, 2019, I'll have a video a day for you guys and try and be dropping some value and helping you guys out. If you guys have any feedback or anything, or maybe some issues you're struggling with phone flipping, or another online reselling business, or even a local reselling business, make sure you guys drop me a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you. I apologize. I think I'm kind of getting sick, and had kind of an issue the other night with one of my properties. I was up pretty late and out in the cold, so I'm probably catching a cold myself. I was getting rained on. We've got a flash flood warning here in Wisconsin now because of the fact that we've had so much snow in the past month and a half. It's all hit us in the past month and a half, and now it's all melting, and we're getting rain back to back each day, and there's flood warnings. And I had a leak in a roof the other day. I had to get up on the roof, and I had to tarp it over with a 20 by 20 tarp and try and stop the water from coming in. The water was coming in from the roof into somebody's kitchen, and it was just a nightmare. So that being said, I'm sorry I'm a little bit tired, and I'm sorry that the video is a little bit late here, but still wanted to get you guys something today and talk about a few issues that have kind of been coming up. And yeah, so thanks for watching once again, guys, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.